Good Yantiv. Author Susan Cain's book, Bittersweet, shares the story of the cellist of Sarajevo. Sitting amidst the rubble all around him, rifles fired, shelling boomed, machine guns crackled, but he kept on playing. In the spring of 1992, the Bosnian capital city of Sarajevo was under siege. For centuries, Muslims, Croats, and Serbs lived together in the city of streetcars and pastry shops, Ottoman mosques, and Eastern Orthodox cathedrals. But in that spring, a civil war waged on. Men on the hills flanking the city cut the electricity and the water supply. The 1984 Olympic Stadium burned down, and its playing fields turned into makeshift graveyards. The apartment buildings were pockmarked from mortar assaults. The traffic lights were broken. The streets were quiet. The only sound was the crackling of gunfire. Until May 28th, when a hauntingly exquisite, infinitely sad, broken-hearted melody filled the pedestrian street outside a bombed bakery, where the day before 22 people had been killed by a mortar shell as they stood in line waiting for bread. Sitting amidst the rubble, Vedran Smalovic, lead cellist of the Sarajevo Opera Orchestra, returned to the ruins. Dressed in his formal white shirt and black tails, he brought with him, and then he sat on a white folding chair, his cello propped between his legs. While the rifles fired, shelling boomed, and machine guns crackled all around, he kept on playing. And he continued to play for 22 days, one day for each person killed at the bakery. When our own great city, the city of Jerusalem, was destroyed so long ago, so too the prophet Jeremiah sat amidst the broken rubble and lamented, Eicha, Yashva badad ha'ir rabati am, how lonely sits the city once great with people. When I encountered the story of the cellist of Sarajevo and the photos of Smalovic sitting with his cello amidst the broken rubble in the lonely city, the hairs on my arms rose and my eyes welled up with tears. The story and the image are tragic and beautiful. In a world where news cycles flash before our eyes, Smalovic, through his music, was able to slow down time, to sit in the brokenness, inviting or maybe even forcing the world to do the same. The story cracked my own heart open. In the wake of the mass shooting that took place this past 4th of July in Highland Park, I know that I was not alone in my inability to simply shake the feelings of fear and outrage, of disbelief and of deep sadness. And of course, we know that it's not just about Highland Park. Innocent people's lives are stolen every day by gun violence in our community and in our country. And if we can distract ourselves for long enough from this disturbing reality, we might feel those same feelings of fear and outrage, disbelief and sadness over a myriad of other tragedies as well. We might despair about the Russian war waged on Ukraine or the state of women's rights here in our own country, about climate change or the mental health crisis, the threats of anti-Semitism and the threats to our democracy. This is all apart from our own losses and pain that we experience in our own personal lives. As I stand before this congregation tonight, I know that many of us are in deep pain. The kind of pain that makes relatable an image of a cellist playing a haunting melody amidst the broken rubble of a once great city. It cracks our hearts open. To experience pain, To have a broken heart is part of the human condition. And when we are in pain, we yearn for a kind of healing that will make us whole again. Our secular culture responds to this universal pain, telling us to keep moving, to move on even. We are encouraged to look on the bright side, to keep a gratitude journal, to look for the helpers, or to make meaning. And there's some wisdom in all of that. After all, even when we're in pain, what's the alternative to getting out of bed in the morning, putting one foot in front of the other, and moving forward? However, Smolovich, the cellist of Sarajevo, and our prophet Jeremiah remind us that actually there is an alternative. They remind us that before we can move forward, we have to first acknowledge our own pain and sit amidst the broken ruin of the cities, of the entire world that existed in what we thought was wholeness just yesterday. Because when we attempt to move forward too quickly, when we avoid our pain, when we bury it deep within, we become inhibited from truly moving forward towards healing and wholeness. And so while the concept of sitting in brokenness might feel counterproductive, it is essential to healing our wounds. There's even a Yiddish word for this broken state, Zerbrochenkeit. This word, like so many in Yiddish, is difficult to translate. It's not quite the same as despair, and it's more complex than simply the state of being broken. Zerbrochenkeit is the kind of brokenness from which understanding and light, healing and wholeness can eventually grow. On a cosmic level, the mystics understood the entire world as we know it to be in a state of Zerbrochenkeit, to be in a state of brokenness. The mystics imagined creation beginning with an infinite God filling all space and time. In order for there to be a world outside of God, God had to contract, leaving a kind of void open for creation. In this void, some of God's attributes that had previously existed in unity with each other, were separated. The great mystics imagined these separated attributes to be forms of light contained in glass vessels floating in the void. Ultimately, these divine lights were so strong that they shattered the very vessels that contained them. This shvirat hakelim, shattering or breaking of the vessels, accounts for all kinds of pain in our world. For the mystics, the world began with brokenness. So too we find Zerbrochenkeit in Torah. After the Israelites had been freed from slavery in Egypt, miraculously crossing through the parted sea, they stood at Mount Sinai. Moses ascended the mountain and had the most intimate, the most whole experience that anybody has ever had with God. Meanwhile, the Israelites grew impatient, they were anxious, and they were afraid, and so they built an idol, a golden calf. Moses descended the mountain, glowing still from his encounter with the divine, sacred tablets in hand. Looking up, he saw a grievous scene, the people dancing around and bowing to this golden idol. Filled with rage and anger, Moses lifted the sacred tablets above his head and smashed them down, shattering them into pieces. After the dust had settled, Moses ascended Mount Sinai again, receiving a second set of tablets from God. After this episode, the Israelites then got to work, following God's instructions, constructing the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary, where God would dwell, and where all of the religious rites would take place during the long wilderness journey. The pinnacle of the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary, was Aron Brit Adonai, the Ark of God's covenant. The Ark was designed to house the sacred tablets inscribed with God's holy words, the ones Moses had received at Sinai. Our ancient rabbis teach us that it was not only the set of completed tablets housed in the portable ark, but so too the fragments, the ones Moses shattered in anger and despair, were housed in the ark. During the 40-year journey through the wilderness, the Israelites carried that ark with both the whole and the shattered tablets. The Israelites remind us that we have to honor not only our whole, but also our broken pieces. Only by honoring the broken together with the whole could our ancestors tend to their wounds and ultimately heal and continue on their journey. Whether it's how the mystics understood creation, how the rabbis imagined the Israelites carrying the broken tablets with them, or that Yiddish word that says it all, our tradition honors brokenness. And by honoring that brokenness, we make way for all kinds of new possibilities, for growth and progress, for creativity and beauty, for healing and even wholeness. Our tradition understands that it is not possible for any person or any people to bypass the pain of brokenheartedness. Our spiritual journey through the Jewish calendar, from the brokenness of Tisha B'Av, the holiday in the summer where we mourn the destruction of the temples that stood in Jerusalem, and where we mourn for so many of the tragedies that our people have endured, where we sit on the floor and chant the haunting melody of Eicha, the melody of Jeremiah's Lamentations. We move from the brokenness of Tisha B'Av to the elation of Rosh Hashanah, and then we move beyond. Though the movement is not a linear one, because even as we celebrated Rosh Hashanah in all of its sweetness and joy, the shofar beckoned us. Shivarim, the cantor chanted. 3 broken cries came forth. Uncover your pain, sit in it, then carry it with you. Carry it into Aseret Yamei Tshuva, the 10 days of Tshuva. Let the broken pieces guide you this Yom Kippur day as you make right the wrongs in your lives. Though the journey through our calendar is still not complete, even as we've reached this most sacred of days, because in just 5 short nights, another festival will begin, the festival of Sukkot. Sukkot invites us to carry our brokenness as well. We carry it into the sukkah, an impermanent structure serving to remind us of our place in the universe. And yet Sukkot is not a time for mourning, and it is not a time for existential angst. Rather, even with the knowledge that we are fragile, ephemeral, broken, Sukkot is called Zman Simchatenu, the season of our rejoicing. And so our tradition weaves the brokenness into the joy, the pain into the celebration, because when we give ourselves the permission, the space, and the time to dwell in the brokenness, from there we can draw the strength to pick up our shattered pieces and carry them with us on our journeys toward wholeness. And yes, even on our journeys toward joy. The way that we heal is as different as each of us ourselves. The process, however, begins in the same way. It starts by embracing our brokenness. The cellist of Sarajevo, Vedran Smilovic, understood this truth as he sat amidst the rubble, playing the bittersweet melody for 22 days, brokenhearted for his beloved city under siege. Author Susan Cain beautifully captures what Smilovic was able to achieve by sitting in that brokenness. We're not combatants, call the violinists. We're not victims either, add the violas. We're just humans, sing the cellos. Just humans, flawed and beautiful and aching for love. We too have our own hauntingly exquisite, infinitely sad, broken-hearted melody. We heard it tonight, the melody of Kol Nidre. Tonight we pray that the melodies and the prayers, the words and the rituals break our hearts open on this, the holiest day of the year. God, please help us sit in the brokenness amidst the rubble of our world and of our lives. Because only when we sit amidst the ruin can we emerge towards growth and progress, creativity and beauty, joy and contentment, healing, and even towards wholeness, the kind of wholeness that honors our broken hearts as well.
יודע כל כאב, מי רופא לשבור בלב, יוצר אור וחושך, עושה שלום ומלחמה, מי יושב על כיסא דין, מי כסה ברחמים, מוקיע וסולח, מביט ויודע, ומי ירפא ליבי, אל מי אני מתגעגע כמו ים שאין לו חוף, רק תגיד לי מי יחבק אותי, ויבטיח שאני לא אכנע בסוף. מי היה הווה ויהיה, מי ממית ומחיה, פותח ידיים, מצמיח כנפיים, ומי ירפא ליבי, אל מי אני מתגעגע כמו ים שאין לו חוף, רק תגיד לי מי יחבק אותי, ויבטיח שאני לא אכנע בסוף, שאני לא אכנע בסוף. na 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 אל מי אני מתגעגע כמו ים שאין לו חוף, רק תגיד לי מי יחבק אותי, ויבטיח שאני לא אכנע בסוף.